For what, almost 2 decades now, one single device has pretty much defined our digital lives. But what happens when that era starts to fade? Today, we're tackling the massive question: what comes after the smartphone?
I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? The one thing that's become a literal extension of ourselves, just gone. But this isn't just some sci-fi fantasy, it's the very question that's fueling billions of dollars in R&D all across the tech industry.
Get this, 2,600. That's how many times, on average, we touch our phones every single day. It just goes to show you how deeply woven this thing is into the fabric of our lives, which makes imagining its replacement, well, it's pretty tough. So before we can even talk about what's next, we gotta look back and really appreciate just how dominant this device has become. The smartphone's reign has been nothing short of a total revolution. You know the story, right? It all kicks off back in 2007 with the iPhone, which just completely changed the game. A few years later, by 2013, the word selfie is officially in the dictionary. That's how fast it rewired our culture. Today, these things are legit supercomputers in our pockets. But we're starting to see a change. Sales are dipping because, honestly, pretty much everyone who wants one has one, and the new models are just, well, they're not as mind-blowing as they used to be. Okay, so if you look at the whole world, the picture is crystal clear. Android is it's the undisputed king, running on nearly 3/4 of all mobile devices out there. That massive scale has made the market completely saturated. But then, you zoom in on the United States, and whoa, the story totally flips on its head. Here, Apple's iOS is the one in charge. It really shows you the power of a strong ecosystem, but it also paints a picture of a very mature market with two giants and not a lot of room left to grow. So what does all this data tell us? Well, while the smartphone isn't vanishing overnight, the glory days of explosive growth and revolutionary new features seem to be behind us. You could say we've hit peak smartphone. And that stagnation? Well, that's exactly what opens the door for whatever's coming next. All right, so if the smartphone era is kind of winding down, what's going to get us to the next big thing? Every sign is pointing in one direction: artificial intelligence. This quote from futurist Alexander Manu, it just hits the nail on the head, right? See, the smartphone isn't just fading away, it's actually morphing. All that powerful hardware and the fact that it's always connected, it's made the phone the perfect vehicle for advanced AI. And that AI is building the bridge to the future.
And this isn't some sudden overnight change. Think of it like a two-step process. First, we had that early AI stuff, Siri, predictive text, the phone sorting your photos for you. Helpful, but it didn't fundamentally change how we used our phones. But now we're in step 2. This is the big one, the generative AI leap. We have these incredibly powerful AI models running right on the device, doing things like translating conversations in real time or letting you search for anything just by circling it on your screen. And where is all this heading? Well, the holy grail really is what people are calling a post-app future. Imagine this. Instead of you jumping between like a dozen different apps to get something done, you just talk to an AI assistant. You say, book me a flight to London for next Tuesday. And AI just handles it. It figures out all the steps and does it for you. It's moving us from tapping on icons to just having a conversation. Okay, so that brings us to our first major contender, the first real heir to the throne: augmented reality. And yeah, we're mostly talking about smart glasses. So what in the world is AR anyway? Well, put simply, it's technology that overlays digital stuff, like maps, messages, you name it, right onto your view of the real world. So instead of looking down at a screen, the info you need is just there, woven into the world around you. So how does that really stack up against the phone in your pocket? Well, with your phone, you have to hold it, you have to tap on it. Smart glasses are meant to be totally hands-free, controlled by your voice or even small gestures. But here's the catch, at least for now: battery life. Trying to cram all that technology into something light enough to wear on your face is a massive engineering challenge. All right, let's switch gears. Our next contender takes a totally different path. Instead of putting another screen in front of your face, these gadgets want to get rid of screens altogether. Let's talk about AI companions. So these things are built on an idea called ambient computing. And the whole point is that tech should just blend into the background. It's there to help, but it's not demanding your attention 24/7. They're almost entirely voice-controlled, designed to be invisible until the moment you need them. And you know what? We're already seeing the first wave of these things hitting the streets. You've got the Humane AI pin, the Rabbit R1, the Limitless AI pendant. There are even rumors that OpenAI is working on its own hardware. Now, have they been perfect? Nope. The first-gen devices have gotten some pretty mixed reviews for sure. But they signal a huge shift in thinking about what a personal device should even be.
And now, we're heading into the deep end of the future, the final contender. This is the stuff that could make physical devices, well, a thing of the past altogether. Brain-computer interfaces.
A BCI? It sounds like pure sci-fi, but it does exactly what the name says. It creates a direct line of communication between your brain's electrical signals and a computer. No more typing, no more talking, no gestures. You just think, and it happens. It is the ultimate hands-free interface.
Okay, so how are people actually trying to build this? Right now, there are kind of three main paths. You've got the invasive stuff, like Neuralink, where they surgically implant electrodes for the most precise control. Then there are semi-invasive options, like Synchron's tech, that uses blood vessels to get a device near the brain. And finally, there's non-invasive gear, like Meta's wristband, which reads nerve signals from your arm. Each one has this big trade-off, right, between how accurate it is and how risky it is to use.
Okay, AR glasses, AI pins, brain implants. I know, it all sounds incredibly exciting. But let's pump the brakes for a second and get real. There are enormous hurdles any of these technologies have to overcome before they can even think about replacing the smartphone. Because the hurdles here, they are massive. First up, the big one, privacy. We're talking about devices that are always watching, always listening, or literally reading your brainwaves. Who owns that data? Then there's just plain old social acceptance. Are we really ready for this stuff in public? Of course, you've got the huge technical problems. Battery life is still a nightmare, and they need way more power. They're also crazy expensive. And with something like a BCI, we get into some seriously deep ethical questions about our own thoughts and who gets access to them. So yeah, because of all those challenges, this isn't going to be like flipping a switch. It's going to be a slow, gradual transition. For a long time, these new devices are probably just going to be accessories to our smartphones, borrowing their power and their internet connection. They're going to live side by side for a long, long time before any one of them can truly take the crown. And that kind of leaves us with this one big thought. The smartphone was revolutionary because it put a computer in our pocket. The next revolution could put that computer in our direct line of sight, or maybe even connect it directly to our head. The technology is coming. The real question is, are we ready for it?